Now, in today's class, we are reading this chapter 7 from your English textbook, and the name of the chapter is Chandni. Now, let us begin reading it. Abbu Khan kept goats as pets. He loved his goats, but they left him one by one. He bought a young, pretty goat and called her Chandni. Once upon a time, there lived an old man in Almora. He was popularly known as Abbu Khan. He lived all alone except for a few goats which he always kept as pets. He gave his goats funny names such as Kalwa, Mungia or Gujri. He would take them out for grazing during the day and talk to them as one talks to one's own children. At night, he would bring them back to his little hut and put a string around the neck of each goat. Poor Abbu Khan was a little unlucky in the matter of his goats. Very often at night, one of the goats would pull and pull at the string till it broke loose, and then would disappear in the hills beyond. Goats in hilly regions hate being tied to trees or poles. They love their freedom. Abbu Khan's goats were all of the best hill breed. They too loved their freedom. So, whenever they got the chance, they would run away, only to get killed by an old wolf who lived in the hills. So students, here we see that there was this old man whose name was Abbu Khan. He used to live in hills and he used to keep goats as pets. He was very fond of them and treated those goats like his own children. But as we have discussed in our classes about freedom, animals love their freedom, and so did Abbu Khan's goats. Because the goats love their freedom, they used to run away from Abbu Khan into the forest. And into the forest lived a old wolf. And when the goats used to run to the forest, the wolf used to kill them and eat them. Now let's continue reading it. Whenever one of his goats disappeared, Abbu Khan was very sad. He did not understand why even the juiciest grass and grains that he gave them and all the love that he showered on them would not stop these unfortunate goats from running straight into the jaws of death. Are these goats mad? He wondered. Or was it their love for freedom? But freedom meant struggle, hardship, even death. Abbu Khan could not solve the mystery. So students, here they are saying that whenever the goats used to disappear, Abbu Khan used to feel sad. He could not understand the fact that the juiciest grasses and the grains and all the love that he gave to the goats, in spite of all this, the goats used to run away to the hills. They were not even afraid of death. Why did the goats run away to the hills when Abbu Khan used to give them such juicy grasses, grains and love? It would have been really difficult to find food in forest, but Abbu Khan used to give it to them. But still, the goats used to love their freedom so much that they would walk straight into the jaws of death, in spite of living tied up into the hut. Now, Abu Khan could not solve this mystery. Why did the goats love their freedom so much that they were not even scared to die? One day, when all his goats had left him, Abu Khan said to himself, "No more goats in my house ever again. I may yet live for a few more years, but I will live without goats." However, the poor old man was terribly lonely. He simply could not do without his pets. Very soon he brought a young goat. He thought, "A young goat will stay with me much longer. She will soon begin to love me as well as the food I give her every day. She will never want to go to the hills." And he laughed with joy. The new goat was very pretty. She was white as snow and had 2 little horns on her little head and a pair of gleaming red eyes. She had a friendly temperament and would listen to Abu Khan's tales with a lot of interest and affection. Abu Khan called her Chandni, which means moonlight. He loved Chandni and would narrate to her stories of all his friends who were dead and gone. Several years passed. Chandni was still there. Abu Khan believed that Chandni would never leave his compound for the free and fresh air of the hills beyond. Alas, he was mistaken again. So students, now we see that one by one, when all the goats left Abu Khan, he decided that he will not get any more goats into his house. But then he suddenly felt really very lonely. He could not do without his pets. So he brought a new young goat, and the young goat's name was Chandni. He thought that this goat will stay with him for a very long time. So what he used to do, he used to tell the Chandni all the stories about his friends, about how they used to live and what all they did. And the goat stayed with him for a very long time. Abu Khan believed that Chandni would never leave his house to go to the hills. He thought that unlike all the other goats, Chandni will stay with him forever. But alas, he was mistaken again. Now, why was he mistaken? Let's read the next part to find out why was Abu Khan mistaken and what happened to Chandni.